That's fine. Got it.
Miss Wendia Duadone is a media professional with experience both behind and in front of the camera. She has worked for BET, WABC, and ABC Network on their hit show, The View. She currently works for Reels Channel, where she analyzes key findings to position Reels as a strong brand in the marketplace. She also serves as a producer for Soma TV on various shows. Fueled by passion for social change and socio-cultural issues, Wendia works as a civic and community volunteer with organizations such as the United Nations Association for Young Professionals, the All Stars Project, and the International Radio and Television Society Foundation. She holds a bachelor's degree in media and film from Keene University, and she is born in Haiti and speaks fluent Creole and French. Everyone put your hands together. And a personal story I have of Wendia. The first time I ever met Wendia, I was a young little college student going to the IRTS Foundation. It's like for kids who want to work within media. And she was speaking on the panel, and she was one of the main reasons that it inspired me to want to continue to pursue my dreams and go within media. So, thank you, Wendia. Okay. So next we have Miss Tiffany LaSister. She is a MSN FNP BC who graduated from Malloy College with her master's degree in nursing as a family nurse practitioner in 2010. She is board certified by the American Academy of Nurse Practitioners as well as the American Nurse Credentialing Center as an FNP. Miss LaSister is currently on staff with multiple facilities in the New York area, providing medical care to a culturally diverse population, and inspires to pursue doctoral studies in the fall of 2015. Up next, we also have, hi ladies. Yes, so, I know they have put out exact chairs, so as the panelists come up, please take your seats, they'll be on stage. Okay, we have Miss Makeda George. Makeda picked up her first makeup brush 6 years ago and knew instantly that it was her calling. During her career, she had the opportunity to work for Vogue Bambini, Urban Doll Management, Deriquo Photography, and more. She has excelled in all aspects of makeup, including print, broadcast, runway, and corporate. In addition to acquiring extensive skill in makeup artistry, she furthered her education and obtained a Bachelor of Science in Marketing from Penn State University in spring 2014 and is currently working in digital ad operations. She has applied traditional and several of the latest techniques and methods to produce timeless art. As a certified makeup artist, Makeda lives in New York City and offers her services to the tri-state metropolitan area and surrounding cities. Everyone give it up for Miss Makeda. Okay, up next we have Miss Sonia Hudson-Payne. She is the host and producer of Sonia on Air, which can be heard on allblackradio.com. She is a published author of both Seasons of Love and A Love I Can Trust, amazing books, and works in the education department as a community engagement director for a charter school system. Not to mention, she is also my personal mentor. So everyone put your hands together for Miss Sonia Hudson. Thank you. It's not good up here, ladies? Do you want a little space? Y'all look a little shoulder to shoulder. Yeah. Everyone gets a little elbow space. You know, as women, when we talk, we're moving our hands, so we don't want to touch no one. All right, coming up next, we have Miss Emily De La Cruz. She is the founder of the Branding Muse. She is the go-to expert for college students and young professionals who want to take control of their personal brand. Through her personal branding class, she has effectively helped millennials position themselves for success in the job market to increase their credibility in their respective industries. Everyone put your hands together for Miss Emily De La Cruz. Thank you. Okay, and last but certainly not least, we have Miss Jessica Lehman. Okay, she has been a franchise owner since the age of 18. After high school, she worked for her aunt in her franchise, and after working for her for a few months, decided to partner up with her and become a franchisee herself. In 1990, at the age of 18, she purchased her first franchise, and between the both of her and her aunt, she ran 5 stores and owned 3 of them. She also trained other franchisees for her corporate office for 22 years. She adopted her daughter from China and sold her stores and took some time to focus on her daughter and her family. She is now training brokers for a financial education company. She enjoys training others to be self-employed business owners and educating people to understand their finances. Everyone put your hands together for Ms. Jessica Layman. As you can see, we have financial, entrepreneurs, education, beauty, health, media, beauty, entrepreneurship, business management, all up here. So between everyone on this panel, you will be able to get a feel for whatever it is that you possibly want to do, okay? So tonight, for anyone who wants to take notes, I will be kind of calling off how we're going to be going through different topics. We have 5 major topics to cover. So first, what we're going to get started with is how to start and manage your own business while working full-time. I know that's a good one. Okay, and so just for the panelists, some of the questions I have already targeted towards certain people. However, if there's something that you want to say, please speak up. What we want to do, I don't think you guys need the mic, but do you want the mic? No? Okay. And then what we want to do is we want to just keep our answers brief to about about a minute or 2. Okay. All right. So the first, do we have anybody in here who's like still in school, college students, high school students? Okay, there we go. So what I want to know, and this is open, and so since it's open, I want everybody to keep in mind, keep your answers kind of brief. Did your college degree or any advanced education help get you to where you are today? And I'll start at this end with Deborah, and then we can just work our way down.
Yes, I'd like to say that college did play a
Do you speak up? Speak a little. It's a little low, so speak a little.
Yeah, I'd like to say that college played a big role as far as the business side of things. But I also feel that it was really just my dream that helped to kind of propel me to where I am now. So, college was important. I tell my daughter, she's in college now, learn what you can, but also understand that, when you graduate, you want to be the person to employ people, not necessarily the other way around.
For me, I would say absolutely. My major was media studies and I minored in marketing. And I'm working in the media field. So yes, if I didn't have that piece of paper, I would not have been able to do my internship at The View at just different television networks. And some of my friends who graduated with the same degree as I did, unfortunately, we graduated when the economy tanked. This was in 2009. I mean, you couldn't even get a regular job. So trying to go into media, forget it. So some of my friends, to this day, they're not working in their field. So while it is important to have that piece of paper, you also have to be driven and ambitious to make that piece of paper work for you. Because I remember I graduated in May. I started my job later on during that year. So it took me about 6 months to get a job. I was waitressing in between and babysitting. And I just basically had to stalk people. I mean, 4th of July, I was sending out emails, birthdays, I was reaching out to people. Thanksgiving, I remember Thanksgiving, the final internship I did was at Good Morning America. And I almost begged the security to let me in the building because my intern ID expired. So it was like, you're forgotten after that. Yeah, you're not supposed to be here. And I'm like, I just want to give out these cards. And I wanted to wish some of the executives happy holidays in person. But really what I was doing is just trying to stay in their minds. If they had a job, something for them to think of me. So while the piece of paper worked, it did open up the door for me, but the rest is up to you. So where you can't really fully rely on it 100%.
does not allow for you to practice without an advanced practice degree. In order for you to become a nurse practitioner, you have to go on after completing your 4-year bachelor's degree to obtain this secondary level of higher education. And then subsequently you have to apply for board certification. So absolutely, my degree did play a very big role in my ability to be where I am today, because if it wasn't for that piece of paper, I would not be able to practice. But behind that comes a lot of dedication, comes a lot of hard work, a lot of time management, a lot of networking, a lot of making friendships, lasting relationships, and making yourself known so that your face doesn't become forgotten. Because just like, you know, my now colleagues on the stage, you know, I also had to make myself known. I had to shake some hands and hand out some cards, and do holiday baskets, and go to Michael's and buy things that I really would not even want to talk about anymore. Make frames and things, and you know, but it's all for the greater good. It's all to market yourself and make yourself memorable.
So I feel like my degree definitely helped with what I'm doing now. Just like what the last two ladies said. I recently graduated. I graduated May 2014 of this year, and within literally right after I graduated, I found my first job. I hated it, and then I went on to another job, hated that, and then I finally found something that I truly love, and I never thought I would, because I'm a creative. I'm not a thinker in that way, but now I'm working in digital technology and ad operations, and I absolutely love it. And it's a great profession to have, because a lot of people just don't want to do it because it's tedious, but me personally, I love it. And as a makeup artist, it allows me to have that creative thing that I really love, and that techie thing that I really love. So it really works for me. And in all honesty, like, just like for those that are in school, you can find a job right after school. Like, it's possible. You just have to be extremely persistent. And literally what I did, I brought my laptop to work every day, and when I wasn't doing something work related, I was applying jobs. Like, literally, like, I wouldn't take a break, or if my break was a break, I would go grab food, come back, apply. Like, I applied to who knows how many jobs, but somebody got back to me, and now I have a job right after school. So it's definitely possible. Don't let anybody tell you anything. Yeah.
Okay, so can a degree help you? Most definitely. You could have given me a degree in how to fold a brown paper bag, and Sonia Hudson Payne would have definitely made it work. So use what you have to do what you love to do. And it's all about taking your talents and that degree and streamlining into something that can be very lucrative for yourself and for your family. So don't just think within the box, because you never should be in the box. Be outside of the box. So my degree is in psychology. I'm not a psychologist, but it's about the human mind. So whatever I do has to do with the human mind. When I interview celebrities every single week, how can I create engaging questions? When I write my novels, how can I manipulate these characters to give you some wonderful stories? When I'm in education, how can I get into your mind so that you can be successful academically? So don't think within the box. Manipulate that degree so that you can streamline it into something lucrative and make yourself successful.
You just have to send me over here. Down one. But yes, I graduated from Syracuse University, so my degree definitely meant a lot to me because of my network, right? Your degree is a receipt. It says that you have loans and that you went to Syracuse, but it really doesn't mean much else, right? But what I will say say is that being in college definitely taught me to use my peers, right? So I learned about graphic design. So if there was somebody on campus that was a photographer, he was taking my headshots. There was somebody on campus that did website design, they were doing my website. So I was able to build my business with very low overhead because I was able to work with the resources that I had around me, right? And now even after college, I've learned how to barter, how to network, and how to really build relationships genuinely, and not only wanting to use someone, but being able to work together to move forward. So I would definitely say the college experience taught me a lot. The actual paper, I don't know, sometimes I want to give it back. But it's definitely a great experience. Thank you.
I guess it's a good thing that I'm last, because I'm probably the only one sitting up here without a college education. And it's not, but I think what's important to own your own business, you don't need to have a piece of paper. But I'm not going to do business with somebody who doesn't have a piece of paper, if that makes sense. Everybody who I associated myself with, who I went to for some sort of help within my business, they all had a degree, and that did make a difference from me being a consumer for them. But it wasn't something that nobody, when I went to a bank and asked for a loan, or I signed a lease agreement or a new franchise agreement, nobody asked me where I went to school or what my degree was in. They just wanted my signature. But where I learned was I would learn from people who I did business with and question the heck out of everybody that you do business with, because that's how you learn. So whether you have a degree or a piece of paper in hand for that, surround yourself with women who have degrees, know women who have degrees, and males even come in a little handy there too. But yeah, definitely.
So actually, I want to direct this next, well, yeah, let's talk about Actually, I want to pass the mic back to Jessica because I wanted to target this next question towards you. Do you really need a business plan to start a business? And if so, how do I go about writing one?
I had a franchise, so I didn't need a business plan per se by the bank, but you do need a business plan to start a business. You can't start any sort of business without some sort of plan to put in place for yourself, know how you're going to financially sustain your household, how you're going to plan your future business-wise, that you're always setting aside a portion of the money that you bring in for future business expenses, because I don't know what the future brings, you don't know what the future brings. So you have to plan that stuff out. You have to make sure that financially you don't set yourself up for failure. You really have to think through on that and really think about the finances of that, or you will fail, and it won't be because your business failed or you failed, it was because your plan failed.
Okay. So the next question I have, I would like to target this towards Makeda because you work in the tech industry, as well as Emily. And it is, what is the best way to go about getting a website for my business and also finding the right person to work with?
Well, I live on YouTube, hence makeup artist.
Yeah.
So I'm always on YouTube looking at like how to do certain things on the Adobe Creative Suite. Like, I'm a self-taught individual. I don't like asking. I don't like waiting on people's stuff. I don't like excuses. So I just much prefer to do it myself. Even though I really don't have any experience in graphic design or a degree in it, I'll figure it out myself. That's just the type of person I am. Hence, I know how to, navigate through WordPress. I can make my own website if I want to. So, yeah, just do it yourself.
Just to kind of piggyback off what she said, when I first started my website, I did it all on my own. I majored in media communications at Studio Westbury, knew nothing about graphic design, digital design, websites, computers, none of that, and I started a website on my own and do a blog, everything.
Well, I was lucky enough that part of my public relations degree, I had to take graphic design, I had to take web design, so I was able to graduate with those skill sets.
But when you're running campus, you don't have time to make websites, right? Like you're trying to be an or, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. So like I said before, I really looked out to my peers who were majoring in those things to help me build it, and were able to teach me how to code and how to do those things. So now I do it all myself, from my marketing materials to my website, everything I do myself. But I had to rely on taking the time out to learn how to do it, even though at that time I necessarily didn't want to do it myself, if that makes sense. But yeah, YouTube, Google, all the codes are out there. It's pretty simple. There's tons of free academies now that teach you how to code and how to do your own website, whether it's Weebly or WordPress or Wix. There's tons of providers out there. So I don't think you not knowing or not having the resources is an excuse anymore to why you don't have a website. She just summed it all up. I was going to try to sum it up at the end. She just summed it all up, honey. No shade. Okay. We're going to target this question to Deborah, because you do a lot, and I didn't even know you were a mother as well, and you had a daughter in there, so, okay. I work full-time, but I want to start my business on the side. What is the best way to do this, and how can I do this without losing my sanity? Deborah.
I would say discreetly, because if you're working for someone else, one thing is that you're working during, or doing something on the side during their time, but also keep in mind that, what you're doing right now is temporary. If you really do have a dream, you really believe that you're going to succeed in that dream, you always want to do something every day for that dream. I feel that with your dream, it's something almost like a mother and a child. You have to literally protect that dream. Because if you don't, you're very easily to stay in the same situation for any length of time. So, I always recommend just to continue to do something towards the dream.
Was there anything anybody else wanted to add to that question?
Chug a Red Bull.
And chug a Red Bull. Okay. All right. And so, actually, this next question, Makeda and Deborah, because you work in the beauty industry, how important is it, as well as Emily, because I know you're all about branding, how important is it to have a social media presence to promote my business or brand?
I'd like to answer that. It's so important. I was researching 58% of the U.S. population is online on social media, whether it's Facebook. I think Facebook has like 1.4 billion followers, people on Facebook. So, now if you don't have a web presence, it's like, who are you? So, yeah, it's so important, and I'm sure Makeda could probably say.
Yeah, working in ad operations, digital is the future. Like, newspapers, okay, magazines, okay, print, broadcast, okay, but those are more so forced on you, like, as far as, like, for example, have you ever seen a commercial between Samsung and Apple, and how Samsung is always going at Apple? It's like a force, like, you know what I mean? So, as far as having a social media presence, it's crucial. Like, mobile is crucial. Like, those 320 by 250 ads that you see, those are what really drive people to make those purchases. Like, have you ever been on Zappos.com, right? And you're shopping for shoes. And then you say, I'm done, whatever. You go on another website, you see those same exact shoes that you had in your cart on the side, and then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it. That's digital. That's all digital. So digital marketing, like, you have to.
Emily? So I send out holiday cards every year to all my clients, and it's crazy because I wrote out a card to South Africa, and I'm like, how do I mail this? Like, what do I do? Like, I don't know how to mail this to South Africa, and I'm like, I can't believe that I worked with someone in South Africa, right? And it's like, I don't have the means to go to South Africa to find that client, but she found me on Twitter, right? So if anything speaks to the power of social media is, you can sit in this room and meet 50 people, or you can meet millions of people online. But it's not only about having a social media presence, but having an authentic presence. So people feel like they know me from my Twitter or my Instagram. They know I'm obsessed with Beyonce. They know that, I feel like Kim Kardashian is the best marketing machine that there is. So it helps to build my credibility and build my relationship with my customers because they're able to meet me online, even if they've never met me in person, and I'm able to build that trust. So you want to make sure that you're using social media for that, to build trust and to build credibility with your customers, and not only, make kind of, generic connections. If that makes sense. So. Thank you, ladies.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, 15 seconds.
Okay, just be careful what you put on social media, Because it has a way of coming back.
In the content, it has to be quality content. Don't just throw up anything and expect people to gravitate towards it. It has to be decent, like good.
Exactly.
So.
Okay, this is an open question. Everyone, just keep your answers short and brief because it's one of those kind of questions. Which social media platforms work best for you and why? Really short, 15 seconds. Jessica.
Word of mouth.
Old school. Ain't no school like the old school, baby. Go ahead.
Definitely Twitter.
It depends on the demographics. If I want to reach an older audience, I usually go to Facebook. If I want to reach a younger demographic, I go to Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest. So it depends on who you want to reach, but you can still have the same message, but it's just different demographics.
Instagram and Pinterest because it's visual. And my business is visual.
Well, she's in the health industry.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, that's right.
Same here.
LinkedIn.
I'm not on Facebook or anything else. And again, like you said, it all depends on the business, what you're doing, and knowing what each platform is for. They're not all the same. So for me as a professional, and also being that I'm working towards my MBA, I'm like, I don't have time to be on Facebook and all that good stuff, but on LinkedIn, when I'm connecting with people, I'm staying on top of everything, industry trends, so LinkedIn is the way to go.
I would say I'm on all of them, Pinterest, LinkedIn, but Instagram for me.
Awesome. All right, I wanted to direct this question to Tiffany and Wendia, being the LinkedIn ladies. How much of my private life and personality do I need to hide on social media?
I am so bad with this. I got a Facebook account after college, and I did a lot of internships, and I remember back in like 2007, at the end of the internship, I would try to stay in touch with my colleagues. And I'm like, hey, so what's your number? Pulling out my phone, they're like, do you Facebook? and I'm like, no, I don't. What's your number? And then you call the person and they send you straight to voicemail. No one wants to talk. They would rather interact on social media. So eventually I opened up a Facebook account, but I never got to the Instagram or any of the trends. Which is bad, but I just keep my personal life out of it. I'm just like all professional when it comes to this. So.
Let me first start out by saying that social media is a double-edged sword. You have to be so careful about what you post and the tweets you send out and the pictures you send. Because anything that you put out, you can't get back. And it doesn't matter who you send an email to, and it doesn't matter about the privacy terms agreement. It's done. You can screenshot, the pictures are gone. The words are gone. Your words have power. Everything you put out, you get back. And it's not always what you want back, unfortunately. So in my profession, I can tell you, I consciously, every time I'm posting something, I have to think about the repercussions that come behind it. I have a lot of colleagues who may feel a particular way about a certain issue, a social issue. If I post something to the effect of no justice, no peace, they're looking at me like, is she militant? Should I be afraid of her? And that's the issue. So personally, I think very, very, very long and hard before I put anything out there. If I'm angry, I don't vent it on social media. A lot of our young people have issues where they vent immediately to social media. There's a problem with their friend, there's a problem with their uncle. Social media knows about it. You have a problem with your boss, social media knows about it. And then you lose your job.
Because they on social media too.
Exactly. So just be conscious of what you put out, because it's always going to come right back.
And I really have to say, you brought up a good point. And it's not just you losing your job. Nowadays, we're all friends on Facebook with some of our coworkers, with just different people. So the situation may not be extreme where you lose your job, but it will make the relationship awkward. and especially when it comes to politics too. I remember during the last election, so it's known, if anyone looks up, I'm an advocate for social changes. I campaigned for the Obama administration and volunteered and